Alexandra Eala replaces Zheng when has to withdraw due to injury, but fans can now look forward to seeing Alex step in.
Direct main draw admission into a WTA 500 filled with 7 of the top 10 players, ranked 46th in the world. Alex Eala will take Zheng Qinwen's slot due to injury, according to the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix. She is also here, which is why we came. Naturally. On their star-studded field in Stuttgart. And in a matter of hours, the professional tennis industry's business model started to change in ways for which the WTA was unprepared. Filipino supporters on 3 continents were rallying to make Stuttgart the newest battleground of the Eala effect, as tournament administrators hurried to amend draw papers. I've never experienced this before. Sign up right now. Through the WTA's alternate list, Eala was granted this Stuttgart opportunity. No favor, no wild card. It's clear that she's an excellent player. After Qinwen Zheng withdrew due to injury, the 20-year-old Filipino entered a field that included Aryna Sabalenka, IGA, Elena Rybakina, Coco Gauff, and Swiatek. Leylah Fernandez, her opponent in the first round, is a lefty who is of Filipino-Canadian ancestry and is up against a player who represents the Philippines nation. This match has deeper resonance. Eala had lost to Yelena Ostapenko in the second round at Linz a few days prior. She now received a top-notch indoor clay stage at one of the most prominent spring competitions in Europe. The news was accompanied with the customary business etiquette. Alexandra Eala takes Qinwen Zheng's position in the main draw, according to social media posts made by tournament authorities. Fans may now anticipate watching Alexandra take over as Qinwen must sadly withdraw due to injury. Beneath the quiet messaging, professional, courteous, and procedural, a commercial earthquake was starting. Because what Linz, Miami, and Indian Wells had already learned the hard way was about to be revealed to the WTA and Stuttgart officials. The standard guidelines for ticket demand are broken when Alex Eala enters a draw. The world of institutional tennis is based on a straightforward idea. Revenue increases with higher rankings. Softer sales and disgruntled fans should result from a number 46 player taking the place of a top 10 star. The entire 2026 season has seen Alex Eala's fanbase disprove that assumption. Indian Wells was the first to see it. Resale prices for some of Eala's sessions skyrocketed to $1,000 when her matches were scheduled, not for a Grand Slam final or Serena Williams comeback, but rather for a young Filipino competitor making it through the early stages. Within hours of draw confirmations, baseline ticket lists tripled, according to those who saw what was going on early. Tennis rankings had no bearing on such costs. They were motivated by a factor that the WTA's economic models had never adequately taken into consideration. A fervent diaspora prepared to shell out any amount of money to see one of their own perform on the highest platforms. Weeks later, Linz verified the trend. Approximately 90% of the tickets for ELA's games were bought by Filipino fans, according to tournament reports. Sessions that often had low midweek attendance turned into standing room events. The Eala army did not simply appear, they seized control. Eala was listed as Jung's replacement on Monday. Fernandez was shown in the first round of the draw, which was released on Wednesday. Stuttgart's first weekend sessions begin on Friday. One item is implied by the timeline compression. What is now known as appointment viewing is available to fans for 72 hours. If Indian Wells and Linz taught tournament administrators anything, it's that the ELA effect can completely change the commercial landscape of an event in less than 72 hours. Tennis expert Steve Flink, who has covered the women's tour for decades, described Eala's growing prominence in terms that go beyond rankings. His observation sums up what is happening, even though his remarks were not exclusive to Stuttgart. Star power is being measured differently in tournaments thanks to up-and-coming players who have strong national support. These days, credentials don't convey the whole story. Gate receipts do. 4 Grand Slam winners and several former world number ones are among the Stuttgart field. TS Eala should be the least commercially significant player in the draw by all conventional standards, but since her followers realized they could turn any event into a home crowd by simply purchasing enough tickets before everyone else, conventional measures have become outdated. Did you think this would happen? Every time you saw the flags, every time you witnessed her battle through 3-set matches against opponents with higher rankings, you realized what the broader tennis community was reluctant to acknowledge as the number of spectators in the stands increased from one event to the next. Movements measure something more profound than rankings, which assess results. The stakes are only raised by the draw with Fernandez. Two left-handers, one symbolizing the country and the other the diaspora, depict the aspirations of Filipino communities. The Philippine sports media has already started portraying it as something more than a first-round contest. Maximum fan investment is guaranteed throughout this cultural event. With 47 years of history, the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix is a WTA 500 event. Maria Sharapova, Steffi Graf, and Martina Navratilova are former winners. The winner receives more than €160,000 in prize money and goes off in a Porsche 911. This isn't just a quick tour stop. Prior to Roland Garros, it was one of the top clay court competitions. The tournament's official statement, "Fans can now look forward to seeing Alexandra step in," had weight that the organizers probably did not intend. Since the announcement, tens of thousands of Filipino fans have been looking forward. Additionally, their approach to looking forward entails updating ticket websites, organizing trips from all around Germany and beyond, and getting ready to overrun the Porsche Arena in the same manner that they overran earlier venues. The comment acknowledged reality rather than shock. Fans care about Eala in ways that go well beyond how she is now ranked. According to reports, Nike is interested in long-term sponsorship agreements, BPI and Globe Telecom are stepping up their endorsements, and Juice and Milo are using her ambassador role locally in Southeast Asian markets. Because Alex Eala is already a top 10 player in terms of commerce, the financial ecosystem surrounding her acts as though she is. Stuttgart is the latest test case in a trend that is making the WTA face an unpleasant reality. Their system of rating evaluates personal success but not market power. Additionally, tours and competitions follow the money when market power deviates from rankings. The season for clay is just getting started. If Eala progresses, ticket demand will be put to the same test in Madrid, Rome, and Roland Garros, all of which follow Stuttgart. The tournament directors at each of those locations are closely monitoring the events in Stuttgart this week. 6 weeks remain until the French Open draw. The commercial ramifications go beyond ticket sales if the Eala effect persists throughout the European clay season. These include broadcast rights, sponsor activation zones, and the WTA's preference for scheduling players outside of the top 30. It hurt to lose to Ostapenko in Linz. Eala had opportunities to force a deciding, lead the second set, and was unable to close. 4-6-5-7, an early clay departure that lost steam at the start of the season's most crucial surface stretch. She didn't make any excuses or voice any complaints regarding the surface transition or the draw. She was on a plane to Stuttgart within 48 hours of that defeat, getting ready for a main draw opportunity that most players ranked 46 never get. $1,000 sessions, resale pandemonium, and Indian Wells. The first match is set for 6 days after Linz. A 90% fan takeover Stuttgart was confirmed as a main round entry on April 8. The pattern is no longer conjecture. It is accelerating, repeatable, and documented. In Germany, Alex Eala was given more than just a key attraction spot. She started the most recent chapter in a story that the WTA has been attempting to ignore. One sold-out session at a time, a 20-year-old ranked 46 is changing the business norms of women's tennis. The Eala army measures success with flags flying, tickets obtained, and the indisputable evidence that their movement is too significant to be disregarded, whereas the institutional tennis world assesses success with ranking points and titles. When Eala takes the court against Fernandez, do the Stuttgart organizers know exactly what's going to happen at the Porsche Arena? Or will they become part of the increasing number of competitions that have overestimated the impact of a whole country attending, like Indian Wells and Linz? If you believe Stuttgart is the pinnacle of this story, you haven't been paying attention, so subscribe immediately. Roland Garros is the culmination of the clay season, and every European tournament that takes place between this location and Paris is about to learn the same lesson. Will Stuttgart ticket prices rise to the same level as they did at Indian Wells due to Eala's fan base? Or will the WTA eventually acknowledge the existence of the Eala effect at this point? Leave a comment with your prediction.